those who can keep the law and those who cannot. Who dares to keep the law? However, there are people who can keep the law. This is an amazing secret. You can find out how to keep the law by watching this video until the end. Why was the law given? What is the law? What kind of person am I under the law? And we studied together about the death of Jesus and the law, the requirements and effectiveness of the law, and the completion of the law. Those of you who have been watching until now will understand today's video. Being able to keep the law does not mean keeping it literally, do this or don't do that. As we have already studied together, the law has demands and effects. The law itself is good, righteous, and perfect at God's level. However, no one can protect a life of sin. So, under the law, I recognize that I am the one who broke the law, that is, a sinner. Because of the law, such sinners have no choice but to be judged according to God's good, righteous, and perfect law and go to eternal hell. To pay for my sins, Jesus suffered the punishment of the cross instead. When Jesus died on the cross, the law was broken and lost its effectiveness. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 15. Having abolished in his flesh the law of commandments, which was enmity, that is, the ceremonial law. Therefore, the law no longer has the effect of condemning and judging people by defining them as sinners, and it no longer has the power to send people to hell because of their sins. And Jesus overcame the power of sin and death and had a glorious resurrection. The resurrection of Jesus fulfilled the law's requirement of love. The resurrection of Jesus restored man to his original form created in the image of God. He made us into beings who can live and share love with God in an eternal world where there will never be any more sin and death. This is because Jesus' death becomes my death and Jesus' resurrection becomes my resurrection. Romans chapter 4 verse 25. Jesus was delivered for our transgressions and was raised again for our justification. Therefore, we who have believed in Jesus and been saved have become united with Jesus. Romans chapter 6 verse 5. If we have been united in the likeness of his death, we will also be united in the likeness of his resurrection. Because we believe in Jesus, we are no longer who we used to be. Galatians chapter 3 verse 27. For all who have been baptized into Christ have clothed themselves with Christ. In these words, what it means to be clothed with Christ is to now live as a person of Jesus with the power of Jesus. Living like this also allows us to live with love, which is the requirement of the law that Jesus fulfilled. Christians who have received salvation by believing in Jesus are no longer those who are punished according to do they keep the law or not. This is because the effect of the law that people had no choice but to receive by not keeping the law was already broken on the cross of Jesus. Now the law has lost its effectiveness. Of course, just because the law has lost its effectiveness does not mean that the law no longer has anything to do with me. Rather, we are now able to fulfill the love required by the law that Jesus fulfilled, the perfect love of God. Of course, people are not capable of such love. We can achieve such love through the help of the Holy Spirit who came into us when we were saved. Love, which is a requirement of the law, was realized in us who believe through the resurrection of Jesus. Through the love of Jesus, we are able to love others. Romans 13 verse 10. Love does no evil to her neighbor, therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Those who love others according to God's truth are those who can keep God's law in a true sense. Those who have not been saved by unbelieving in Jesus Christ, the love of God, can never keep the law no matter how hard they try.